Okay, so I'll get started. All of you already know what we do. So, in terms of introductions, Chris is working for me full time. He's acting as our sales director in terms of programs and doing the face-to-face stuff with you guys and
Okay.
interacting. I have Harry here, who we also have working for us, who is going to be basically designing any subsequent material that you guys need and that Chris might need. So we just got a financing partner. And then Ben is in here. He's a client of ours who's been around for quite a bit. He is excellent with email marketing in terms of the right way of doing it. Servers, rotating your servers, using all the different IP addresses, the stuff that no one tells you about when you try to do email marketing successfully. So we were going to work with Ben and have him on our marketplace providing email services, but not retain services, pay for delivery. Because it's just to eliminate the people who don't know what they're doing or trying to sell. They're trying to use MailChimp or something. They're going to fail pretty quickly. And then it'll be easier to get the best people. So what I want to show today is a few things. I want to show you the software in terms of how everyone can now interact with the different opportunities. And second, I want to go over any type of content that anyone thinks that is needed. And I'll have Harry take some notes on that. And I think I'll start end it. We'll have everyone just ask questions, and I'll use Chris because he's been doing a lot of sales calls with me and developing a process to help with answering anything and everything like that. And then Harry, I need to review what you did with the financing. Harry was gonna help us manage the financing arm. I just wanted to throw that in too. So, a few things. So you're on your page, right? I just want to first point out that we have this very creative package that Chris came up with that's actually been closing. So 1 whole year, this package, basically, 50% off. So we added a few things here, right? So you have your affiliate link that you can always access here. And if you want us to change your ID, I'll do that for you. That's no problem. And then we added this feature right here. So keeps track of the commission and if they're a subscriber or not. And then we'll add one other column, what they subscribe to, what price, and their rebilling date. Like we can add whatever we need to this. We're making this its own dashboard that's not on this page, but its own unique dashboard. But we provide you all the info to eventually close the lead that you generate. And we're setting it up where you get notifications if you get a new lead, stuff like that. So all the people you generate will be here. And if Roger was to show his screen, you would see that. And then I can also see on my side who signed up as an affiliate. And I ended up putting Rob on a free account. So that's why it shows this. But all of it carries forward and calculates your commission. And then we're redoing this to make it much more user-friendly, like charts, graphs, better tables, better filtering. So that's going to be out in the next couple of days, probably middle of next week. One other thing I really want to stress, which is cool. So let's say you sign up Robert, and Robert never buys anything from us, but then Robert signs up 5 more people. These 5 people theoretically never have to pay anything. They can end up just using our challenge system. So we built this system together where there's challenges. And let me actually delete some of the ones I did for myself. So let's say that you, Roger, are like, wow, I absolutely love videos about how to make $10,000 in X amount of days selling data. Kind of like what there's a video right now we're doing recordings about. So within the same challenge section, we can also produce, and I'll show you from this side, a challenge to make similar or like sister YouTube videos that we ultimately dictate. So we can add a challenge and we'll call it, what's today? Create a look-alike YouTube video to generate insurance leads with Avocadata, to how to skip trace, right? So we can say it's active for 10 days. So now this challenge exists. What we're adding is, instead of this share button, we can basically dictate and put a link to this. And this is their affiliate video. And we can also say post the link, submit. Now basically we have a challenge where, well, create a YouTube video, blah, blah, blah. And then we also have all the videos we've done that they can reference. We get a lot of organic views now, which really helps. Click the link and immediately gets signups and instant sales. Like, we have a client that pays us $25,000 a month now. He came from a YouTube video, and that's when I really got. And he's been paying us for the last 6 months. So that's why I went so gung ho on all these YouTube videos. I had to pause a little bit because the editing, given what I try to do, takes a very long time. And my computer doesn't like it. Not a long time. It's like a couple hours, but still. But yeah, it's the same thing Go High Level did. Like, if you go over to Go High Level, they made bot farms. That's the word that I call it, like a bot farm. And actually,
can you send a copy of this training to everyone, please?
I'm actually going to upload it to YouTube.
All
so
right, good. Thanks.
Yeah, so yeah, within like the details, right? You can obviously, I use ChatGPT to really edit the titles and really mess with it. And I'll put in different links because it ends up helping your affiliate link. So I try to model everything after Go High Level, right? You see, and if you use their hashtag, it tells you how many unique YouTube channels have ever used it. 1.1 thousand. So 1,100 unique YouTube channels. So I want to, everything Go High Level has done as a business plan has been very intelligent, in my opinion, and executed very nice. So you see, like, I tagged random people because it ends up boosting the SEO of the video. And it's also, being a little intuitive, making sure the thumbnail is a little interesting, right? So again, use ChatGPT. And then I do playlists at the same time because it just ranks your backlink more. Because let's say we go into a playlist, right? The playlist ends up within the description. Now you're finding more places to fit your URL, basically. And then basically more people find it because it's in more areas. And that's getting into the SEO side of things. Like I told Chris, I'm tired of my SEO being bad for something. So I just spent a little money and got these rankings back up. So it's all organic traffic. A lot of the sales that we got were from organic leads that we just had to talk with. So organicness is usually the best. And how you do that is through content.
All right, Brian. Now, when you do the solar leads, I think I've seen where you had some credit scores in there at one time.
Those I turned it because it's information I can prove a phone number, I can prove an address, right. I can prove your wife. I can't prove your credit score because it changes.
Okay. Right.
Like it's so I usually I try to remove those fields, and granted, if the leads are over a year old, credit score is not really relevant. I mean, your income doesn't change too much, but your credit score can change pretty quickly.
No, the only reason why I asked, because I wanted to see if you wouldn't mind implementing some credit repair leads in there with some of the credit scores. But you said it changes, so.
Yeah, I honestly, the way I got into this was working with Identity IQ, building apps with their APIs to try to do that, and it just didn't work. It was too much information requesting from people that don't want, like their social. It was just not easy conversations to do. So there's definitely a market for it, but it's
it is.
Yeah. I mean, right now we're finding a lot of we don't have it yet, but we're trying to get motor vehicle accidents figured out because we
Mhm.
have quite a few people looking for those. I mean, in terms of new navigable things, that would probably be one of the higher things than credit repair per se.
Mhm.
Good for lawyers.
Exactly. And there's a big market, and somehow we're attracting a lot of those people. So Chris is like because he's full time working 8-10 hours a day with us. Um, he does a few things. He does the dialer some of the day, closes some deals some of the day. But the main thing that I really want him to be focused on is basically grabbing a bunch of people and throw them into the pile of what works. Because what he's doing is basically reaching out to basically other influencers, because the way the system's going to work is it will be a few tiers down, not an MLM, but it'll definitely be a few tiers down. So that way, if your YouTube video recruits another affiliate and they have no intention of buying, but they just want to be an affiliate, you get commission on everything they do.
Well, I'm thinking about very large organizations and insurance and real estate, because those are the two verticals I've been working.
So two things. One, insurance carriers that are large are sometimes an issue, because if they sell Medicare or they do a ACA, they are being pinched from the government, being threatened to take their Medicare selling ability or ACA ability away if they don't clean their house on their other stuff. So insurance used to be the best client we had up until, I would say, middle of last year, August, when the texting really got shut down.
Yeah.
So there's actually some loopholes I've been working on with that. Small guy with 5-6 people in an agency.
Yeah.
They're not worried about, because they work for many carriers. They don't work for life insurance is different though. Life insurance would work. Real estate would work. Medicare, definitely no, because the people who know what they're doing know that they could lose their ability to sell Medicare. Data is a commodity. I can have infinite amounts of data, and we're building a platform where the end of the day for Avocadata is the point is like Roger can come in with an idea, and Ben has a set of data maybe, and then Harry has another set of data, and Roger is able to merge those two together to make a whole new information product. So we're trying to make money from the enterprise side, almost like make it not social, but make sure people are like contributing and everyone gets paid because of it technically. So there's a bigger goal in mind. There's a long pathway, but it's all doable. And at the end of the day, it doesn't have to be a sales platform. It can be a research platform, anything you really need it to be. If you look here, it's all different data. It's political data. I mean, it's everything. It's not just leads. It's any little bit of data at the end of the day. So with any of this data, you can paint any type of picture of anybody you want.
This is unbelievable. This is really unbelievable.
But the issue with this is, though, you have to be an IT expert to connect it. So they did a really good job at making it a marketplace, but you need an engineer in almost every instance to make this data work like this. It's not, and I only learned that after 4 years of suffering through learning the hard way.
Like 1 billion leads, 900 and that crazy amount, that crazy number.
What was that?
That's 99 million credits left.
Oh yeah, I put it at the highest it could, so I never run out. And if you hack the system and figure out a next point, I move it to negative 9999999, because no matter how many times you use a stolen credit card, you'll never get out of the negative.
Do you have the ability to look into areas where there's been a lot of hailstorms and sell leads to roofing companies?
Oh man, you're getting so that we basically built another hail tracking platform. I won't say the name of the other ones that are out there, but basically we learned that they have a very simple app. If you want to rebuild it, simple. Connected to NOAA, gives you the longitude and latitude of hail, and the whole thing to draw the polygons. It's an API from USPS that's free. So basically, it doesn't cost them anything to build. We built the same thing. And in terms of the snapshots that I was talking to Chris and Harry about, that's kind of the idea with the marketplace, where we'll have the data and then widgets you can attach to it. So you want to figure out where hail landed? Okay. Draw a map, and the map of the polygon will pull the longitude and latitude for the right address. We just haven't put it live yet because there's only one of me, and that's why I have all of you guys here now. And guys, it's like there's a million thousand damn ways to do this, and that's why I made a white label, because you may have contractors that want to do it for the purpose of professional licensing businesses. You may have
Thanks.
contractors that want to do it for the purpose of roofing or for any, like there's a whole industry built around the industries, and that's basically the idea, because everyone comes to me with good ideas. Like someone came to me with, okay, can I white label this sharing system, but not anything else? I just want this and homeowner leads. Why? Well, I list properties that are pre-foreclosures. I get all the real estate agents in the country that are licensed in the state to call the homeowners that are nearby, and typically they get someone to buy the pre-foreclosure. So he wanted to offer people free leads in exchange for saying what he wants them to say on social media about the property he has listed. And then they get free homeowner leads to try to sell the property. Insurance is, I literally would say 3.5 years ago, 4 years ago when I started this, insurance people were my absolute favorite, because when they asked for a lead, they asked for a phone number, a name, an age, and a state, and that's it. But when a solar person asks for a lead, they ask for someone ready to take an $80,000 loan. Unfortunately, those roles have reversed, where the people that buy the most for insurance, honestly, now are, there's one person I know because he has an offshore call center. He's doing it well. But I mean, it's a lot of life insurance people, solar business. A lot of insurance people started, but then they realized I was told that selling insurance was easy, and I just have to set up an email marketing campaign, or I just have to set up a texting campaign. And we're not allowed to train anybody on how to do texting or telemarketing. That's going to get us in a lot of trouble. And that's hence why people like Ben and some other, like, basically, it's more the skill of how to get the emails delivered. So like the whole model is, if you need email marketing, you're not going to have to get stuck around with 5, 6, 7 people that say they can do it, because you're only going to pay them if they get the email delivered. That's it. If you got 20% bounce rate, but because the emails were good, but your delivery patterns are bad, because there's a lot of people who say they can do what they do, what they really can't. So that's what I'm really trying to.
I've experienced that personally. I had a fire drum account. They're out of Arizona, and I was doing marketing, and I was getting like 20% of my emails would bounce immediately. They say if you send it from a Gmail account, and you guys know this much better than I do. This ain't my thing, but getting the data through to the end user it seems to be getting harder and harder.
Well, I used to.
That's why I like Ben. He can send 500,000 a day, all delivered, because it's not a copyright stack, it's technology. I'll let Ben explain a little bit, because I don't even do it, because
here's the deal. Like I've got lists up the wazoo, but right now some of them are so old, and other sources I've used, if I use them, I would run them through an email verification process first. Mm-hmm. The problem for me is that when you run that list through an email verification, the email verification strips all the associated data, so it actually complicates your ability to use the database, because then you have to take your database, then you have to rematch it with the original database that has the name, first name, last name, cell phone, all the other stuff, right? So what I like about Brian's data, or Avocadata, is that I've done raw tests with the data, and like I was just telling him today, I sent out 10,000 emails over the last 24 hours, and I only had 11 bounces out of 11,000 emails. I mean, that doesn't even rate statistically.
Well,
so
you that's incredible.
Yeah, and he just bought another 300,000 more. So And I've known Ben for quite a bit now, and he's been trying our data every now and then, but it's not been the data that's been wrong. It's been figuring out the process. And once he figured out the process, he keeps paying us every time because he's having people that pay him because he actually gets a good job done. So it's like if we can bring on as many people that are, results oriented and we're able to have them bill for that, like we create a pretty cool ecosystem. This up over the next 8 minutes, but it's two things in one. In terms of a simplicity, do you guys know what Squarespace is or Wix?
Yes.
What about you, Ben? Not Ben, I'm sorry, Bob.
I don't know what that is.
Have you? Okay, so basically, it's an easy way to build a website without having to know how to code. So before, when I showed you this information right here, we're doing the same thing like a Squarespace did with Wix, or like Wix, where we're taking a back end like, we'll say Snowflake, and the average person doesn't know what Snowflake is. They just think of 2016. And this is what we're doing, complicated shit on the back end. So if Roger comes out and says, I want to build a product to find out if more people shopped at Walmart than they did at this time, all the data is there to be able to do that. And now you don't need to have you don't need an engineering team that you're paying $30,000 a month like I am. You are able to simply drag and drop stuff and use your logic, use your common sense. Be like, okay, well, if I have the longitude and latitude of somebody's geofencing, and there's an IP address or an IMEI or a cookie tied to, well, that geolocation, I can identify that serial number to a home address, and I can identify the home address to a person. And now I have everything about that person. However, it's not meant for that reason entirely. That's getting down to the lead aspect. Forget the lead aspect. Think about what leads and sales is really like. I don't know what the word is. We're like on the bottom of the totem pole of people who really like us, right? But when you start talking about stock analysts and financial analysts and Wall Street investors, you get a different type of feel. And that's kind of how I'm trying to position Avocadata, where instead of just being leads, you can have the guy at Goldman Sachs say, I have a good idea. I want to create an algorithm using this various amount of data sets. So there's hundreds of not hundreds, this is like 20, 30 rows. And then just imagine all different databases you can combine. And I want to determine before the first quarter of Walmart in 2025, did more or less people shop in Walmart between October of 2024 December, and 2023. And now you have a faster way to figure out finances in a totally different way. I mean, you're not giving up people's names, but you obviously can track all these pieces. And then your Discover card, your Visa, MasterCard, they sell all your info. So I can end up finding your info, not by your name maybe, but and not your credit card number, but the amount of money you spend at a particular store and how often you go to the store. And now I can tie that together with your longitude, latitude, and boom, we now know when you went to the store and how much you spent. And that financial analyst could predict, does Walmart go up in the next quarter?
Let me ask you something. Is this what gigantic corporations are doing right now to decide which of the stores they're going to close?
Oh, 100%. I mean, but because like, for instance, there's a $5 million company we work with, and